to the KSR YouTube channel. We're over at Will's house where they've gotten a bunch of work done on SoccerMom, which is good because we've got to go racing like in a week and a half. So yeah, see, he's got the Sick Week wheels on it. A little bit heavier than our other wheels, but they did a whole bunch of work with getting the transmission tunnel patched and taking the rear fuel cell out, which will show you that in a little bit more detail here in just a minute. But things are coming right along, which we're running out of time. And there's still nothing right there. Yeah, nothing like a last minute thrash. Why is it always last minute? Anyways, it's not my fault. Okay, it's not all my fault. It's partially my fault. But we got a new engine. Not yet. You guys will see that next episode about SoccerMom, hopefully. I was trying to check the tracking number a little bit ago and couldn't get the internet to load. But we're gonna try and solve that here in just a minute. All right, so let's see what all they got done and then try to keep moving along on this thing in today's episode. See you after the intro. All right, well, one of the first things we're doing now that I'm back over here is, well, I'm kind of still supervising for the most part, but doctor did give me a clearance, I guess, to kind of resume some normal stuff. He said I can kind of start, you know, easing back into things, and says looks like I'm healing up really well, so that's all good there. But this is the fuel cell out of SoccerMom, the street cell. We decided to put a new fuel pump inside the tank because we were running alcohol through this street pump, and alcohol dries stuff out really bad. So just to make sure that we were in the clear as best we could, we just decided to put a new fuel pump in the tank. It's like $150 or $60 worth of insurance that we can avoid a problem and not have to drop this out on the road. That'd be a good thing. But we did package our other fuel pump up and going to keep it as a spare. But you can kind of see how it mounts into the car. It's got these saddle clamps here, and then they are welded all around to you know, these support plates here that really give it, spread the load out as best we can. And then on the front, it's got an actual piece of angle here. It kind of wraps the corner and turns up the side here again to spread the load. And then in the car, these are bolts welded to the frame rail, and it just comes down there and straps it to it. And there's our little access panel for getting to the filler neck on it. Everything's all built in. I keep seeing something drip. Is it fuel line got a little, oh yeah, there it is. That still feels like alcohol too. Yeah, that's alcohol. It's cold. So the fuel pump is in there. We made this little piece to replace the filler neck, and fuel pump's down in there. And then this is the feed line over to the regulator, return back, and then the pressure line comes off the side over here and goes up to the street fuel injectors. Fuel pressure sensor for the street system, and then all the wiring kind of just unplugs that and then unplugs off the relay. Which I guess we could have left all that hooked up, huh? Yeah, and then just take all those loose. So, all right, well, let's put this back in the car, and then we can check out what's going on at the other end of the car and see what all they did over the weekend while I was at home recovering. All right, so I set this up as a time lapse, and probably shouldn't have because it actually went so fast. I mean, literally, it's the two clamps on the back. Plug the two bolts in at the front of the tank where the straps come down. There's the one fuel line that we may put a quick disconnect on just so we can actually drop the tank and not spill any fuel at all. That would be kind of a nice trick. And then literally plug all of the wires in. So this time lapse is not even 10 minutes worth of time lapse. And it everything went really quickly, which is nice when you can build something that so quickly goes back into a car. like when we try to build stuff, my thought process a lot of times is being able to work on the car, kind of just like we did with the gear vendors, you know, the tunnel. Like, hopefully we don't have to work on that, but I want to build the car so that things are easy to work on, you know, at least as easy as possible, considering a lot of these things are cramming a lot of stuff in them. All right, well, now that we got the fuel cell all back in it, see they will taped off the interior for painting the new patch for the transmission tunnel. I can kind of see it down there. And I'll have to show you, we'll get it back up in the air in a minute, but I think it's got good clearance around it now to access the gear vendor's unit, which hopefully we don't have to work on. Will's already put fluid in it, since I can't be trusted to do that, apparently, from all of you that reminded me in the comments. Thanks for all that. Appreciate that, everybody. Yeah. Always be learning, right? So, see the new, oh, we got fancy paint on the floor now.
That's the rest of it look a little rough, but
shifter tabs redone. Got to put the fire bottle back on. So somebody asked how the fire bottle activates. The pull cables just activate the actual handle. Like, that's how that system works. That's a same system we use in all of the Champ Car road race cars, and it has two outlets out here under the hood. So one of them's right there, and the other one is right there. And then there's two aimed at the driver, like one at the driver's feet and the other one at the driver's midsection. So that's how we've set it up in here. So it's got 4 nozzles to spread the fire suppression out around the car. And another thing we've added, you got a flashlight, Will?
yeah.
Ooh, that looks nice. You guys probably can't see it because it's all so black in here, but got her all seam sealed up. You could definitely tell, I guess that's the original brown overspray of the car when it was new, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Ooh, that makes it look real bad. That looks nice. Shifter thing looks nice too. Like
How well did that?
The front
that?
shifter bracket looks good.
Actually,
looks good,
CJ and Kimber welded the plate in.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's coming.
I don't look hardly that different from the way it was. It's just a little bit taller, and you can get to the gear vendors real nice, I thought.
Yeah, the biggest thing was that frame that went across there.
Yeah.
You know, if that wasn't there, you could probably just beat on the floor and it would have cleared, but because of that frame was there, that knocked it out. So another thing we added, because these batteries, and this might be something that you guys may want to add to your own project cars, we added this battery separator switch, I guess we can call it. So basically it's an automatic low voltage disconnect. So if the battery voltage goes below 10 volts, it disconnects the battery, because obviously there's a drain somewhere on the outlet side of, you know, somewhere in the car. So we had a battery get down to about 8 volts, and these lithium batteries, once you get them below, like, I think 6-7 volts, they will not recover. So we were able to save ours, luckily, but to prevent that, we talked to the guys at Go Lithium, and this is a piece that they sell and we sell as a dealer for Go Lithium batteries, but an automatic battery disconnect. So just a little thing, and you could use it, you know, this is a 16 volt car, but if you used it on your 12 volt car and it drops below 10 volts, not only is it dropping below 10 volts, but it drops below 10 volts for like 20 seconds. So, you know, when you're cranking, it's not gonna, you know, even if it does drop below 10 volts while you're cranking, it's not going to disconnect the battery, because hopefully you're not on the starter for 20 seconds straight. So we've got a few more things to do in here. Obviously we've got to add our passenger seat, stick it back in, and what else we got to do? Remount the shifter, put the dashboard back in. Lots and lots of little things. Lots and lots of little things. But
let's go up in there and show you the gear vendors all installed. Ah, the drive shaft did not show up today. That reminds me. I thought the drive shaft was going to show up today before I left the shop, but it didn't. So maybe tomorrow. Anyways, let's go up in the air and we'll check out what's going on underneath.
I don't remember if this cable would have had been cut on here before.
Here's our old front end hiding up in the attic. And the doors. Will and Kimber and CJ had a little adventure getting that up there, but race cars and cool street cars everywhere. So we just got the shifter all tightened back up in the thing. In there like she's supposed to be. Checking a few more things off the list. What all we got to still do on the list? Oil temp. That should be good because we're using the same pan. Measure for drive shaft, yep. Yep, wire mountain passenger seat. Heat vent wire for fan. Coolant system, yeah, still gotta do that. Yeah, we got a few more things. Few more things to get done. Hopefully it goes pretty quick here. So anyways, let's keep on trucking along. Actually, we're gonna run up in the air and show you guys the overdrive stuff underneath. It is what it is. Oh yeah, I'll go measure. All right, so another thing we've got to change is we've got to convert away from these smaller wastegates, and we'll put these Turbo Smart Compgate 40s up on the website, sell them along with I'll even send you with the little dump pipes for it, because we were starting to notice that we were losing control of the boost control. Like basically no matter what we did, the lowest boost the car would make was like 30-35 pounds of boost once it got a little bit of RPM to it, because basically these were not big enough to dump the energy. See, that's a pretty small gate. And we noticed that once we switched to alcohol, especially, like just there's so much more, I guess, fuel and volume in an exhaust of an alcohol car, that we kind of lost control of the boost controller. So put some 60mm gates on there, but you can see the power glide and gear vendors is in for the final time. So still got to hook up our lines. It's like our temperature fitting, and then the trans brake solenoid, got to hook the shifter back up, get it all taken care of. Our drive shaft should be here tomorrow. They went ahead and swapped to the 350 gear, so we decided to go ahead and not try to shift the car on the track. And since we're going with something a little bit bigger in the engine department, you know, we ran the 350 gear last year at Sick Week, but we're also adding some weight to the car. It's kind of going to be a little bit of a shot in the dark, but hopefully we can still go, you know, mid-7s is the goal every day at Sick Week. Hopefully that's something we can make happen. I mean, I think we're probably adding close to 400 pounds back to the car by the time we have, you know, the steel doors, the steel front end, the gear vendors is like 45-50 pounds. And the biggest difference, which you guys will see soon enough, is that the engine is an iron block. So 100 pounds right there, or 110 pounds. So that kind of adds up pretty quick. Maybe we should have left the fiberglass doors on it or something, but a lot of changes to the car this time around, but it's definitely going to be way more streetable than it was, you know, with the gear vendors. We're going to be able to set the cruise at like 90. What do you think about that, Will?
Wait.
Better than the 50 we were on the interstate last year.
Especially since we got to run from Bradenton to Jordan.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a long run. We raced Bradenton on day 2 and have to drive all the way to South Georgia Motorsports Park, which Bradenton's like 2 3/4 hours from Gainesville. South Georgia is,
I looked it up today, 5 hours.
5 hours total? Yeah, I mean, I was thinking almost 2 to South Georgia and almost 3 to Bradenton, so.
I don't remember the miles. It seems like 300 miles.
300 miles? It's gonna be a pretty good drive. So if we can maintain, you know, we're gonna be stopping for fuel, because this thing, what did we get last year? Like 16?
10 or 12,
Oh, I think it was better than that. 14 or 15 miles to the gallon, I think. But we'll document that a little better this year because we've got the year vendors, so mileage should be better this year. Will went ahead and made up some brackets to mount the fan to the radiator, which we got to tighten all that up. Once we finish modifying the radiator, which had to change the angle of the water pump outlet, as well as where the returns from the engine, because we run 12AN hoses to the engine, a pair of them, and then two 12ANs back from the engine. You know, we've got to reposition, and the radiator came with one 16AN bung. It's easier just to weld two 12s on it and then run two 12AN lines all the way back to the tank. So that's probably going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully the next video will show you what's coming in for the engine for the car. And we're going to keep plugging away at this thing because
running out of time.
Basically a week, and today is Tuesday. We've got less than 2 weeks and we will be racing. So actually 2 weeks from today is day 2 of Sick Week, which we got a lot to do. All right, I'm gonna head back to the shop and do some other stuff, even though it's kind of getting late, but I gotta get some other stuff done so that we can keep chipping away on this thing. So appreciate everybody watching. See you guys in the next one.